The story goes, when earlier this year, Israeli intelligence officers came to arrest Khader Adnan from his village near Jenin, they told his children, he has 9, that your father is able to control the West Bank from its north to its south with a single word: I will make him die in prison. This is what Al Jazeera, not Arabic, reported earlier this morning, shortly after the death of Khader Adnan in his prison cell. Now, Khader Adnan has been on a hunger strike for 87 days. It is the longest of his hunger strikes. Khader Adnan is no stranger to hunger strikes. Following his arrest in 2012, he initiated his first hunger strike, and he did that 6 times. The 6th was the one that ended with his death. Khader Adnan knew that the Israelis understand the significance of his position as a Palestinian activist and a leader within the prison community. You see, for many years, Palestinians have carried out hunger strikes. This is something that goes back to the very early days of the Palestinian prison movement. But what Khader Adnan has done that changed the dynamics of hunger strikes in Israeli prisons is the fact that he had individualized hunger strikes with a different purpose. Before Khader Adnan, hunger strikes were conducted collectively. And the aim of these collective hunger strikes, whether in Nafha or in Ramle or in other prisons throughout Israel, is to negotiate, or rather to bargain, collective rights of Palestinian prisoners within Israeli prisons, but without releasing these prisoners. And they have succeeded. They've achieved so much collectively. But rarely was hunger strikes were utilized by individuals to ensure their own freedom and the freedom of others. Khader Adnan has done so successfully 5 times in the past. And since Khader began with this process, many other Palestinian prisoners used that technique and were in fact released. Now you would say, but why should a prisoner be released just because he is carrying out with hunger strikes? Well, the reason behind this is that they should have never been arrested in the first place. They are political prisoners. If Israel has any criminal charges against any of these prisoners, they would have charged them as such. But Israel arrests hundreds, if not thousands, of Palestinians throughout the years using what they call administrative detention. This means that Israel can arrest any Palestinian, an academic, an activist, a poet, or any other type of Palestinian who is outspoken against the Israeli practices in occupied Palestine without any particular list of accusations. And they keep these Palestinians for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years at a time without actually having to provide any evidence. And as a result, this is not a legal process. This is illegal under international law and illegal under any democratic regime that prides itself in the use of due process. In Israel, when it comes to Palestinians, there is no due process. So the outcome was people like Khader Adnan decides that since there is no international protection to Palestinian prisoners in Israel, the only thing they can do is to go on these prolonged hunger strikes. Now, why does Israel release them then? Because they fear the response of the Palestinian street. If a Palestinian prisoner dies in prison, it means that the Palestinian street is going to revolt. In fact, it happened in the past. 287 Palestinian prisoners died in Israeli prisons, sometimes as a result of medical negligence and fewer times as a result of hunger strikes. One of them is a relative of mine. His name is Faris Baroud. He died recently as a result of medical negligence by the Israeli prison administration. The reason that Palestinians are now saying that Israel has intentionally killed Khader Adnan is not an exaggeration. Israel refused to provide him with any serious medical attention, knowing that his fate, especially that his frail body has already suffered through many hunger strikes in the past, will not be able to hold for much longer. In fact, 80 days after his hunger strikes, they kept him in a solitary confinement in his prison cell. The reason that they made him die this time is because of a man named Itamar bin Gvir. Itamar bin Gvir is a fascist. He's a far-right, nasty Israeli politician that even the Israelis themselves don't like. When he became the Minister of National Security in the far-right government of Benjamin Netanyahu, he promised that he is going to crack down on Palestinian prisoners protesting and resisting inside Israeli prisons. Now he has fulfilled his promise to his equally far-right constituency. Palestinians are, of course, reacting. Now Palestinians are firing rockets, they are protesting. There is a massive strike throughout the West Bank and Gaza as a result of what Israel has done. But it's very important that we remember that the greater fight is not happening outside, but rather inside Israeli prisons. Israel is now watching very closely. How will Palestinians react to this? Will allowing Khader Adnan to die inside his prison cell will be enough to deter future Palestinian prisoners from carrying out with their own resistance using hunger strikes? Or will that in fact empower Palestinian prisoners inside prisons, inside Israeli prisons, to carry on with that tactic that was in fact perfected by Khader Adnan and allowed Palestinian prisoners not to bargain for greater rights within prison, but to in fact win their freedom? This was One Take with Ramzi Baroud. Thank you for watching.